Oriire funo, good tidings to you. I pray that you are feeling awake, aware, and elevated in mind, body, and spirit, wherever you are, and whatever may be happening around you. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I'm Baba Umar, Oluranse Emese, voice of the MSA, member of the Isoro Traditional Council of Chiefs in Ile-Ife, Nigeria, Oluwo of the House of Umar, and Babalawo of Ile-Ife, Orisa, the House of the Mysteries of the Orisa. Oriire, abundant blessings to our Egbe, our online community of subscribers that continues to grow, thanks to you. Thank you for joining us for another lesson and for clicking that like button. Remember, that's your way of communicating with the YouTube Egbe, the YouTube algorithms, to make sure that this channel gets exposure and can grow. We have over 1,000 subscribers. We want to hit 2,000. We want to hit 5,000. We want to hit 10,000. We want to grow as much as the universe will allow us to grow in providing this wisdom of Ifa. Remember, as a member of our YouTube Egbe, you can support each other's spiritual journey by posting your questions and uplifting comments in the comment section below. You can also email me in the description section below if you need to connect with me on a more personal matter for consultation or divination. Also, check the community section of this channel for periodic messages, the monthly Ita Dogun that I publish, and the additional lessons that I share. If you're new to these video lessons, we invite you to go ahead and click the subscribe and notification buttons and share this resource with your family, friends, and associates. You'll be helping our online Egbe to grow, and you never know whose life you may change by that simple act of sharing the wisdom of Ifa. Hopefully, I pray that what I'm sharing with you through these lessons has changed your life, and I'm grateful to those who brought Ifa to me, because Ifa has certainly changed my life. Homage to the one who sends, and to those who are sent. Homage to Orisha and Egun. Our topic for this video is the 16 Truths of Ifa, Truth 8. We are part of the universe, in the multiverse, in a literal, not simply a figurative way. Part 2. In part 1, in our last video, in part 1 of this discussion of the Truth 8 of Ifa, we left off with an excerpt from the text, the Mystical Qabalah. I'm quoting, "If we intend to take our occult studies seriously and make them anything more than disconnected light reading, we must choose our system and carry it out faithfully until we arrive, if not at its ultimate goal, at least at definite practical results and a permanent enhancement of consciousness." End quote. This is the most meaningful and effective way to approach these video lessons and your decision to become a practitioner of the Ifa spiritual tradition of Ancestor and Orisha worship. You don't want to be a surface dweller. You don't want to miss out on the deep meaning and advantages to come from understanding deeply what it is that we're talking about here. The text, the Kabbalah, continues, "After this has been achieved, we may, not without advantage, experiment with the methods that have been developed upon other paths and build up an eclectic multifaceted technique and philosophy therefrom. But the student who sets out to be eclectic before he has made himself an expert will never be anything more than a dabbler. End quote. Let me give a couple of examples. When I first got involved in the martial arts over some 60 years ago, you see martial artists, most of the time those that you're seeing are advanced students or advanced even teachers. And you see the dynamic stuff that they're doing, and it's like, wow, I want to do that. Yes, I can see myself doing that. So then you sign up with a teacher, with a school or whatever, and you begin getting the instruction, and the instructions are basic. In fact, they don't look anything like the advanced stuff that you saw that attracted you to the martial arts. You go home, and instead of practicing the basics that you were given in class, you go home and you try to do some of the more advanced techniques. Probably end up falling and hurting yourself by doing that. It's not going to work. Those teachers and students, that advanced students that you're seeing doing those more advanced techniques, have put years into basic training in order to be able to perform at that level. They went deep. Different analogy. You've all heard the expression probably, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Okay? You hear that, and you say, well, I don't want to have to be going to the doctor, so, maybe I'll try, getting into some apples. So you go to the store, you buy some apples, some organic, nice, beautiful looking apples, no bruises or wormholes or anything in them. Bring them home, and you take your first apple and you lick it. Really? Do you really think that licking that apple is going to keep the doctor away? No, I know you know better than that. So you realize, okay, I'm going to take a bite out of the apple. So you take a bite out of the apple. Some of the sweetness goes into your mouth, and you take the piece that you've bitten off and you set it down on the plate, or maybe even throw it in the garbage. Shallow thinking. Really? You think that taking a bite out of the apple and throwing the bite away, you're going to keep the doctor away? No. It dawns on you, okay, I got to go deeper into this. So you take a bite out of the apple, you chew it. You get all of that succulent juice flowing in your mouth. You swallow it, taking your time, tasting it, experiencing it, allowing it to go down into your intestines, into your stomach, and you know that the microbiome is now breaking it down and making the nutrients that are in that apple accessible to the cells of your body. It has to go through that process of being masticated, of being broken down, of being chemically broke down to its essential ingredients, its basic ingredients, in order for your body to benefit from it. If you eat the apple, then you can keep the doctor away. These analogies apply to how we approach our Ifa practice. The text goes on, it continues. After this has been achieved, we may, not without advantage, experiment with the methods that have been developed upon other paths and build up an eclectic, a multifaceted technique and philosophy therefrom. But the student who sets out to be an eclectic before he has made himself an expert, will never be anything more than a dabbler. That's not what you want to be in your practice of Ifa, a dabbler. You don't want to read a lesson or watch a video and walk away. That's not how you grow in Ifa. You have to go deep into the lessons. You have to be diligent in your study. You have to masticate, chew this information up so that it can be properly digested and fully nourish your body, mind, and spirit. So let's continue with part 2, Truth 8. We are part of the universe, the multiverse, in a literal, not just figurative way. The few can easily manipulate the many if the masses of people, if we, remain dabblers into the wisdom of our Egun ancestors, the lessons of history, the confirmations of modern scientific research in quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and their implications for understanding our journey in the Loja. Quantum sociology is my way of focusing these sciences on the human social experience while looking through the lens of Ifa. Most of our personal problems, our national and international tensions and conflicts emerge from a perception of the Loja, this third dimensional reality, that is rooted in the ideas of limitation and separateness. Ifa summons us to the perspective of Isopo, connectivity, Isoki, contraction and contrast, and Itelo, expansion. Because it is only with this basic understanding that we can bring about the true integration of self, unification of peoples, and the good condition enjoined on the Eniyan, the chosen, you and me, as a most important part of Olofi-dumare's plan. This is a must-do for us. Olofi-dumare has enjoined on us that we bring about the good condition for every human being. We've done a whole lesson on this. Go back and check your notes. This is true in both the interpersonal and international spheres of life. This is especially true for my African American brothers and sisters who have been so thoroughly fragmented by white supremacy racism, by the historical experience of the African slave trade, and by the mind-bending hypnosis of social conditioning. Of course, we, African Americans, are not the only ones who have been infected and debilitated by white supremacy racism. And now we see it rising or raising its monstrous head again. This last political election cycle, put it right in our face. Well, we've been seeing it for years, but it's right up in our face now that white supremacy racism is not dead and that we're still dealing with the consequences of this hypnosis of social conditioning. It is increasingly accepted as fact in the modern scientific community and has long been understood in the corpus of the Ifa spiritual tradition of Ancestor and Orisa worship that everything is energy and everything is connected to everything else. The water in the ocean and the clouds in the sky are from the same single energetic source. The trees and the animals, you and me, the world around us, all is from the same source. Everything comes from the same source and returns to it. Everything is one. Your thoughts and feelings are energy as well. So everything we think and feel has an influence on everything and everyone on the planet and elsewhere throughout the infinite expanse of universal consciousness. In this way, we create our own reality because mind rules matter, each a different vibration of the same thing, the Ashe. This is the fundamental precept of the 8th truth of Ifa. We are part of the universe, multiverse, in a literal, not just figurative way, or expressed differently, in different words. Everything that we perceive, think, and imagine is an expression of consciousness. And consciousness, the consciousness of Orisun, source, and we, you and I, have our existence in that consciousness. Let's look at another source. The teachings of Hermes, the Kabalion, the Hermetic philosophy, as an example. Again, something that we can look at outside of the Ifa tradition that points to the wisdom in the Ifa tradition. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. I'm going to take my kufi off here. I'm quoting from the Kabalion. While all is in the all, it is equally true that the all is in all. The all is all caps. So we make this distinction between talking about all, the everything, and the all, the source of everything. To him who truly understands this truth hath come great knowledge. End quote. It goes on to say, quote, the universe is mental, held in the mind of the all, end quote. This wisdom is wonderful and beautiful once we begin to put the pieces together to form the bigger picture. It's not the importance of the words, but the importance of the ideas that the words are pointing us to. Quote, continuing from the Kabalion. The all is eminent in, means remaining within, inherent, abiding within. The all is eminent in its universe and in every part, particle, unit, or combination within the universe. So many of us pray to the God or gods as though Orisun Ashe, the source energy, is out there somewhere, or as though we are in some way separate from that to which we offer our prayers. This is why Ifa must bring this truth to the forefront of our minds. We are part of the universe, multiverse, in a literal, not simply figurative way. It's not out there, it's here. We are part of the all. Orisun, source, Olofi-dumare, flows in each of us, in every cell of our aura ojubo, our body temple. Our own consciousness and awareness exists only as an extension, an expression of the omniscience, the omnipresence, the omnipotence of the infinite consciousness of the Ashe that we call Olofi-dumare. Now, for further scientific verification of this truth of Ifa, I want you to simply research the subject of quantum entanglement, which we've discussed before. We talked on it in part 1 of this particular lesson, and we've touched on it in a number of other videos. Just to remind you briefly, quantum entanglement is a physical phenomenon that occurs when pairs or groups of particles are generated or interact or share spatial proximity in ways such that the quantum state of each particle cannot be described independently of the state of the others, even when the particles are separated by large distances. So two things are at one point one, and then they separate. When they separate, they are quantumly entangled because they come from the same source. When we make a change in one, like spin it or twist it, what this law of physics is saying is that when we change this particle, we also change this particle because they are quantumly entangled. Now you got to think of this in terms of you and me. What I do with my life affects you. What you choose to do with your life affects me. And that applies to all of us, all 8 billion of us on the planet. Of course, the closer someone is to you, a family member, a best friend that you associate with on a regular basis, the greater the influence of changes in you have on them because you're in such close proximity. But even for folks that you don't know, that you never had any contact with in this life, you're still entangled. And so what you do that affects you also affects them. It doesn't matter how much physical distance there is between us. We are inextricably connected, entangled with each other. Since everything in creation is an expression of the same energy, Ashe, and quantum entanglement has been scientifically proven, then the universal law of Isopo, connectivity, is a fact and supports the 8th truth of Ifa. We are part of the universe, the multiverse, in a literal, not simply a figurative way. If you've understood this lesson on the 8th truth of Ifa, then you're right at the threshold of the 9th truth, which states you must never initiate harm to another human being. Because as I just stated, what I do to myself, I do to others. What I do to others has an effect on me because we're quantumly entangled. I pray that you've derived some benefit from this lesson, that you will review it again and again until you can dig down deep enough to hit bottom and say, okay, I think I've mined about as much of this as I can. But bear in mind, if you study this lesson today and tomorrow and next week and next month, and you say, okay, I think I got that, and then you come back 6 months from now and review this lesson again, you're going to get more out of it. Because 6 months from now, you will not be the same person that you are today. You will have evolved. You will have expanded. You will have transformed into a higher version of yourself. So when that higher version of you comes back to review this lesson again, you're going to see things in the lesson that you didn't see before. Ashe. So be diligent in your study of Ifa. Don't be a dabbler. Don't be a surface dweller. Don't lick the apple. That's not going to give you what you want. And don't let people trick you up into things. You know, we're so product oriented in this culture, in Western culture. This is part of the hypnosis of social conditioning. You know, get the latest gadget, get the latest thing, you know, the latest this or the latest that, and that will make you better. No. Things will not make you better. Choices will make you better. Choices about how you live your life. That's what will make you better. That's what will help you to expand. That's what will help you to transform into higher and higher versions of yourself. That's what will allow you to tap into your spiritual power. That's what will allow you to solve the problems that you're confronted with in your life. I know you're being challenged. Of course you are. We all are. But those challenges are that's what happens in school. You go to school, the teacher gives you some lessons. The teacher says, okay, study this, memorize this, solve this problem, okay? And then they give you a test. Okay, answer these 10 questions and bring the results back to me so I can grade you to see how well you're understanding the material. The universe treats you the same way. The divine realm treats you and I the same way. We're all going through this school. And we're going to graduate from grade to grade to grade to grade based on what we do and how deeply we study the material. Don't be a C student. Definitely don't fail. Don't be satisfied with an F or a D. Don't be satisfied with a C. You're going to take a test and you're going to get a C. But don't stop there. Go back and study some more and see if you can retake the test. In this realm, in the realm of the Loja, you are going to have to retake that test. If you didn't get derive the benefit of the lesson to be learned from some experience that you went through or are going through in your life, that situation is going to come back at you. It may not be exactly the same, but you're going to be confronted with the same kind of choice to make and it's going to repeat itself until you make the choice that elevates you. The example that I've used in the past and that I use now, we're all going through life bumping into pendulums. You bump into a pendulum, you cause it to swing. Every swinging pendulum has a consequence. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If you've done something, if you've bumped a pendulum that is a problem, that's creating a problem, that is a potential problem, and you want to avoid the consequence of that mistake, then what you have to do is move above the pendulum to avoid the backward swing of the pendulum. If you're still in the same space, mentally, physically, spiritually, if you're still in the same place when that pendulum swings back, you're going to suffer the consequences. You want to improve your financial situation. You want to improve your relationship situation. You want to improve your health situation. Whatever aspect of your life it is that you want to improve, you can improve it, but not as a dabbler, not as a surface dweller. You've got to go deep. You've got to bite into the apple, chew it, swallow it, allow your system to digest it, and derive the nutrient benefits that apple offers to your body. You want to solve your problem? Because ain't no spook is going to come and solve your problems. Wisdom is going to come to you. Knowledge is going to come to you. The universe is going to give you information and put you in circumstances that allows you to see. Orisa, choose to see. Orisa, see. Choose to see. You choose to see, but what are you going to see with? What are your eyes? How are your eyes being conditioned? If your vision is conditioned by the hypnosis of social conditioning, then you're not seeing clearly. You want to get out of that? You want to change that? And you chose Ifa as the way to advance yourself? Then don't be a dabbler in Ifa. Dig deep. Study. Review. And apply what it is that you're learning here. Apply it. And it will benefit you for all the days of your life. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Ki Olo-Dumare Orisha ate egun, fifune ni itona imoye ati opoire. May Olo-Dumare Orisha and Egun bestow on you guidance, wisdom, and abundant blessings. Ifo Kanbale, peace of mind from Olo-Dumare. Alafia ati Ife, peace and love. Ajo lo, ajo bo. We go out together, we return together. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. I put the title and ISBN number for the text that I read from the Kabalion and the Qabbalah in this PDF copy of the script, so that you can access those publications if you want to study further on that subject material. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Be blessed. Ajo lo, ajo bo.